Steve Jobs, the genius behind Apple, suffered from excruciating pain. And yet, many people still think of spinach, yes, spinach, as a health hero for everyone. Especially if you've battled kidney stones before. A simple spinach salad can silently trigger another one. You might be wondering, how can something green, natural, healthy be dangerous? The truth is, spinach carries an invisible threat: oxalates. Tiny compounds that can silently bind to calcium in your kidneys, hardening into painful stones. Every spoonful of raw spinach, every green smoothie filled with the leaves, can either nourish your body or silently load your kidneys with the next stone. If you've ever felt a sharp pain in your lower back, a wave of nausea, and if you've ever ended up in the emergency room with a kidney stone, then you know one bad food choice can change your life overnight. So let's start by exploring why spinach, a favorite of many, could be a hidden danger you need to avoid. 1. Almonds, the healthy snack that may be harming your kidneys. Almonds. The heart-healthy, protein-rich, fiber-rich nut everyone tells you to eat every day. But for older people who have had kidney stones, almonds can silently form the next stone little by little. Here's what most people don't realize. Almonds are loaded with oxalate, the same natural compound found in spinach and rhubarb. In fact, just a small handful of almonds can provide more than 120 milligrams of oxalate. And for people prone to calcium oxalate stones, that's a danger zone. Oxalate binds to calcium in the kidneys, forming crystals. Over time, those crystals grow larger, and by the time you feel something's wrong, your back starts to ache, your stomach starts to cramp, or worse, you notice blood in your urine. The damage has already been done. Almonds still have a place in a balanced diet, but if you've had kidney stones, doctors recommend limiting foods high in oxalate or combining them with calcium-rich foods to block oxalate absorption in the gut. You might think almonds are always a good choice, but if your kidneys are vulnerable, even healthy snacks can pose risks. If this changes how you view almonds, comment one below. 2. Walnuts, the daily brain food that may be stoning your kidneys. You eat them for your heart, you eat them for your brain. Walnuts are in your salads, your breakfast bowls, and your trail mix. But if you've ever had a kidney stone, you might want to hold off before reaching for that next handful. Walnuts are secretly high in oxalates, sun-pleasant plant compounds that bind to calcium in your kidneys, eventually forming hard, painful stones. Just 1 ounce of walnuts can contain about 90 milligrams of oxalate, and if you snack on them every day, the oxalates add up fast. The worst part? You won't notice until it's too late. Sharp pain in your back, sudden nausea, or blood in your urine, all are signs that a stone has formed or is on the way. Doctors warn that people with calcium oxalate stones should limit their intake of high oxalate nuts, including walnuts, even if they seem healthy. The risk isn't in the taste, it's in the frequency. A little here and there? Probably fine, but a daily snack? That could be setting you up for another trip to the emergency room. Walnuts are still nutritious, just not to be eaten indiscriminately. Vary your snacks. Maybe opt for a hard-boiled egg or a low-oxalate nut like sunflower seed. Have walnuts ever been on your everyday list? If so, and it's made you think twice, comment as 2 below. Take a moment. If walnuts have been your go-to snack, you're not alone. They've long been seen as a smart choice. But this isn't about regret. It's about adjusting with knowledge. You don't have to give up nuts completely. You just need to know which ones might not serve your kidneys well. So now that we've cracked open one kind, let's take a closer look at another common favorite: cashews. 3. Cashews safe for some, dangerous for others. You'll find them in trail mixes, roasted on party trays, and even pureed into dairy-free cheese. Cashews are rich, delicious, and often labeled a heart-healthy snack, and for most people they are. But if you've ever had kidney stones, especially calcium oxalate stones, cashews may be causing trouble that your kidneys can't ignore. Cashews are high in oxalates, the compounds that combine with calcium to form kidney stones. Just 1 small serving of cashews can provide 49 to 50 milligrams of oxalate. That's probably not harmful to people with healthy kidneys. But if your system is already struggling to process oxalate, these nuts can push you over the edge. You may feel fine at first, a snack here, a recipe there, but a few weeks later the pain hits. A pain in one side, dark or bloody urine, bouts of nausea, another stone is forming, and you're back where you hoped you'd never be again. Doctors warn, foods like cashews aren't bad, but they are risky for the right people. If you've had kidney stones, limiting high oxalate nuts like cashews could help you avoid another painful episode. Cashews aren't off limits for everyone, but if your kidneys have been on alert, it's time to rethink what healthy means for you. If this sounds like you, leave a 4 in the comments below. 4. Peanuts, the natural snack that can wreck your kidneys. They seem harmless, just peanuts, dry roasted, no sugar, no salt. A natural snack packed with protein. You toss them into your salad, eat a handful between meals, maybe even eat peanut butter every day. But if you've ever had kidney stones, that daily habit can turn against you. Peanuts aren't nuts in the botanical sense, they're legumes. But they do have one thing in common with almonds and cashews: they're very high in oxalates. Just 1 ounce of peanuts can contain 140 to 150 milligrams of oxalates, among the highest of any commonly eaten food. And here's the kicker: peanuts don't seem unhealthy. They're not sweet, they're not fattening, but that's why they're dangerous, because we don't think about it. And over time, this natural snack builds up. Oxalates build up in the kidneys, binding with calcium and forming sharp, painful stones. The pain doesn't come overnight. It progresses silently: lower back pain, nausea, painful urination, until the damage is done. If you've ever had a kidney stone, you need to watch your peanut intake, doctors say. Even a small daily dose can silently recreate what you thought you'd passed. Do peanuts seem safe to you? If this changes your mind, comment 4 below. Let's not beat ourselves up. If peanuts were part of your routine, it just means you've been trying to snack smart like many of us. This isn't a blame game. It's about noticing patterns our kidneys can't always speak about, until they do. So if one small snack can tip the scale, what happens when it becomes a habit? Let's take a look at another popular handful: pistachios. 5. Pistachios, one snack, a chain reaction you don't see coming. You open a bag, you eat a few. They're salty, crunchy, and seemingly light. Not heavy, like chips or candy. Pistachios seem like the perfect snack, and if you've never had kidney problems, they probably are. But if you've had kidney stones, pistachios may be setting off a chain reaction that your body won't forgive. Like other nuts, pistachios are high in oxalate. 1 cup can contain more than 70 to 80 milligrams of oxalate. At first, you don't feel anything, but here's how it happens. Oxalate enters your body, your kidneys filter it. Some of it binds to calcium. Gradually, crystals form. They start out as small as grains of sand, but if they don't get out, they pile up, forming sharp stones that get stuck in your urinary tract. The pain doesn't come on slowly. It comes on hard. It hurts. It's relentless. Some people describe it as worse than labor pains, all because of a snack you thought was healthy and maybe even good for your heart. Doctors explain, pistachios aren't bad, but they can be bad for you if you've ever had calcium oxalate stones, especially if you eat them regularly without a balance. If pistachios are in your pantry, don't panic. But stop for a moment. Have you ever felt that chain reaction? If so, or if you look at pistachios differently now, comment at 5 below. Take a breath. If you've ever thought, but I only eat a few nuts a day, you're not wrong, and you're not alone. The problem isn't always quantity. It's repetition, routine, and the quiet buildup that goes unnoticed. Now that we've seen how pistachios can set off a chain reaction, let's turn to another nut that often flies under the radar: hazelnuts. 6. Hazelnut, the good fat. You've heard about, but not the whole story. You've probably heard it before. Hazelnuts are a healthy fat, great for the heart, rich in antioxidant. And guess what? All of that is true for the average person. But if you've ever had a kidney stone, there's a part of the story you haven't been told. Hazelnuts, like many other nuts, contain a significant amount of oxalitous V-very compounds that bind to calcium and form painful stones in your kidneys. A small handful can contain 70 to 80 milligrams of oxalates, and if you're snacking on them every day, the oxalates add up quickly. You might be thinking, but they're not almonds or peanuts, so they must be safer. Not necessarily. Many people avoid obvious stone-causing agents like spinach, but accidentally substitute hazelnuts and end up in a vicious cycle of pain, severe back pain, nausea, painful urination. Doctors say it's not about avoiding all nuts forever, but if you're prone to kidney stones, you need to personalize your health choices, not just follow what's trendy. Hazelnuts can still be good for you in moderation, in balance, and not every day. What's good for someone else may not be good for your kidneys. If you've heard that hazelnuts are always safe and now see them differently, comment 6 below. 7. Compulsive, thirsty, adverse country. Joe Tahana. Mayhamet. The comfort food. Your body may no longer tolerate this difference. 7. Pecans, the comfort food. Your body may no longer tolerate the fruiter. Was this the first time? The whole? Remember pecan pie around the holidays? Or those sugared pecans at the county fair? For many of us, pecans bring back warm memories of home, of family, of simpler times, and they still feel like a softer nut than others. But after age 60, our bodies change. What was once harmless can slowly become harmful, especially if you've had kidney stones. Pecans, despite their softer texture and flavor, still contain a fair amount of oxalate, about 70 to 90 milligrams per 100 grams. That may not seem like much, but for people who are already prone to calcium oxalate stones, even those cozy snacks can cause problems. The kidneys don't forget. Oxalates bind to calcium, forming tiny crystals that silently deposit, until one day a sharp pain in the lower back signals that it's too late. And just like that, the food that reminds you of joy becomes an unexpected culprit. Doctors often say, it's not about banning your favorite foods, it's about respecting what your body needs now, not what it tolerated years ago. So enjoy the memories, but also create new ones, with choices that protect your health. If pecans remind you of sweet moments, but you see them differently now, comment number 7 below. The bigger picture nuts are just one chapter in the oxalate story. Let's zoom out for a moment. It's easy to point to almonds, peanuts, or walnuts and say, that's the problem. But the truth is, nuts are just one part of a much bigger story. Oxalates, the compounds that form kidney stones, show up in far more foods than most people realize. Spinach, beets, sweet potatoes, black tea, even dark chocolate. They're all part of the same picture. And many of these foods have been praised for years as natural, clean, or even superfoods. But this isn't about fear, it's about clarity. If you've never had kidney issues, your body probably handles oxalates just fine. But if you've had a stone before, your kidneys are already telling you, we're more sensitive now, please pay attention. That's why we focused this video on nuts. Not because they're evil, but because they're sneaky, common, convenient, and often overlooked. The real danger isn't just in one food. It's in routine, in repetition, in thinking that healthy for most means safe for you. You don't have to throw out your pantry. You just need to learn what your body handles well and what it doesn't anymore. After all, the goal isn't to live in fear of food, the goal is to live in tune with your body. And for those of us over 60, that shift in awareness might be the difference between another ER visit or a peaceful, pain-free year. Maybe you've eaten almonds every week for years. Maybe you've had walnuts in your oatmeal or a handful of peanuts before bed. And if you've had kidney stones, it's easy to feel a little regret. But this isn't about blaming yourself. It's about noticing what your body's been trying to say in its quiet way through pain, discomfort, or sudden ER visits. The truth is, your body changes with time. What served you well in your 30s might weigh heavier in your 70s. That doesn't mean food is turned against you. It means now, more than ever, your choices need to match your needs. And the beautiful thing is once you know, you can act. You can still enjoy snacks, still treat yourself, just with a little more awareness and intention. A little calcium here, a little balance there, and suddenly you're not living in fear, you're living with confidence. So, don't fear the nuts. Don't fear your past habits either. Take the good you've learned, let go of the guilt, and start moving forward with small, smarter steps. Because you deserve to enjoy your life fully, comfortably, and without another kidney stone holding you back. And if this helped you see things in a new light, share it with someone you care about. It might just save them a pain they never saw coming.